Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 14 of What If Naruto Was a Godly Mage. Remember to get this one to 200 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform, and also go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If, brand new series of What If Naruto Unlock a Strange Power. So go ahead and check out that and enjoy guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time hearing my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all for your help and your support. And yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, as Sarutobi told Naruto that he had someone to help him refine his taijutsu skills. Naruto didn't thought that it was good to meet up with Guy and ask him for training right now. Lee was still injured from his battle with Gaara, and Naruto didn't want to see Guy or Tenten right now because what he was planning to do to kill Neji. So he didn't want to say anything to him right now, as his mind was dead set on what he was going to do, no matter what. He then came to the hot spring as he saw a man peeping, as Yamato convinced Naruto to peep as well. As Naruto went there to look as well, when the man looked at him, as Naruto didn't focus on the man at first, not really paying attention, as there was too much smoke in there, so Naruto animated that tree that sort of blew out with his steam, making him see much clearer. As the man had stepped back on a tree branch, cracking it, all the girls then came out, as Naruto hid inside the tree, as Jiraiya was beaten to a pulp, but he got back up like nothing just happened. As Naruto realized who the man was, Jiraiya wanted to let Jinchuriki. Jiraiya already knew everything about the fox inside him as well. So he was the one that Sarutobi wanted to help him refine his taijutsu skills. Jiraiya already knew that Naruto didn't have any chakra, but he acted like he was not the wiser. Yamato didn't know why, but he felt strange, like he's seen this guy before or just heard his voice. But he shrugged it off like it was nothing, after a while of not remembering. As Jiraiya then told Naruto to use the fox chakra to try and perform techniques. As Naruto decided to give it a try, as Jiraiya made him sign the toad summoning contract. As Naruto bit his thumb, the Kyuubi was surprised and Naruto pulled on her chakra. It was strange, like some kind of filter that filtered the chakra through his body, because Naruto's eyes did not even change. He just stood there completely normal even though he just absorbed one tail worth of her yokai. It was rather confusing. As Naruto slammed his hand on the ground, suddenly, Jiraiya was completely beyond shock when he saw all the great toads arrive, even the great elder toad sage. How was that even possible? As all of them were confused as hell. Naruto then felt something strange. He felt a lot of mana populating the area. As he held his hand forward, suddenly, there was this strange light from the toads that erupted and went into his body. Jiraiya and the toads were beyond shock when they saw Naruto's eyes, as they couldn't understand. As Naruto looked into the stream to see that his eyes had changed, as Jiraiya told him that it was something called Sage Mode, as Naruto felt his capabilities boost, his speed, his strength, his reflex, as he didn't understand what was going on. The toads dispelled after a while as the elder great toad sage wanted to see Jiraiya. As Jiraiya told him to give him a couple of minutes because he wanted to talk to Sarutobi first before they re-summoned him back at the place. As he told Naruto that he will be back in 1 week, but first he wanted to see how fast the kid was in this stage. As Naruto attacked him, Jiraiya was surprised when he lost sight of the kid as he appeared behind him, but Naruto stopped. As he told Jiraiya if he hold back too much he's gonna hit him, but Jiraiya was shocked because he actually lost sight of the kid. He then went to inform Sarutobi about what happened, and Sarutobi was now beyond shock, beyond belief. How was that even possible? It took Jiraiya years to learn Sage Mode, but Naruto learned it in just 1 hour or so. That was beyond what he ever thought. As Jiraiya headed towards Mount Miyamoku, some time passed as Jiraiya was talking to Elder Toad Sage. The Toad Sage had a vision right after meeting Naruto. It was strange, as he saw the world on brink of destruction, and he also saw the world at completely utter peace, as he believed that that dream has something to do with Naruto. He didn't know why, but he had a feeling. He had the same feeling meeting the Sage of Six Paths all those years ago. And it was coming from that boy, as he didn't know what that meant exactly. After a week and some days passed, Naruto's on the monument as Tenten phoned him. She really wanted to talk to him, as they hadn't really talked since the day what he said about Neji. But Naruto hopped off the monument as she rushed over to look and saw him gliding down the stone wall. We then went out of the elemental nations as the two figures were talking. One of them were trying to find a way to go to the elemental nations to speak to Naruto, as the other one told them that it will take some time. The person simply walked off. Naruto then woke up in the middle of the night as he jumped out of bed. He looked on his chest to see some strange red chains, like they were forged into his skin. But then they vanished, as Naruto wondered what the hell was going on with him. So yeah guys, so basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So, what do you say we begin this new episode? Ah, so you finally made it, said Jiraiya, as he was sitting out in the clearing, where him and Naruto were, when Naruto summoned the toads. I finally made it, said Naruto. You blew me off. You said that you'll be back in 1 week. 2 weeks has already went by, said Naruto. Oh, sorry about that, said Jiraiya. I had a lot of things to do before I returned back to Konoha. But I'm back, he said. As Naruto mumbled a bit. Alright, what if I teach you something really awesome, said Jiraiya. Then would you forgive me? Awesome like what, said Naruto. Jiraiya then held out his hand as a Rasengan formed into his palm. Whoa, what is that, said Naruto, seeing the ball of pure, condensed power. This is the Rasengan. I think I heard about that before. Where did I... As Naruto tried to remember where he heard about it. Oh yeah, I heard some ninjas talking once about the fourth Hokage and 2 of his signature techniques. The Rasengan and the Hirishin. You mean the Hirishin, said Jiraiya. Yeah, said Naruto. So how do you know it? Oh, I forgot. You were the teacher of the fourth Hokage. So I'm guessing that he taught you his technique as well. Yeah, well I picked it up, said Jiraiya. But I don't think that you will pick it up that easily. Because it took me a while. And given how awesome I am and it took me a while, I don't think that you'll be able to learn it in the 2 weeks that we're going to... Hold on, said Naruto. I've always wanted to try this. Try what, Jiraiya asked. Just keep the Rasengan steady, said Naruto as he stepped forward. Let's see now, he said as he held his 2 arms forward right above the Rasengan. What are you doing, brat? Just hold it steady, said Naruto. It was then that Naruto's hand started to glow. A dull red before it became rather bright as it overtook the Rasengan. Jiraiya felt this warm, strange sensation. It felt almost calming, to the point of complete relaxation. But next it felt rage, and very powerful at that, as he wondered what the hell was going on. It then vanished, as Jiraiya remembered this a long time ago, when Tsunade was checking over Naruto's vitals when he was a baby. And his hands became red, enveloped by this strange energy, and then they became green, like Tsunade healing medical palms. Naruto then stepped back as he held out his hand, where the red glow vanishing. There was a crackle of lightning, as Jiraiya watched as if space above Naruto's hand started to distort away. Jiraiya stood there in curiosity and surprise as he watched as a small red ball formed right above Naruto's hand. It was rotating, spinning at an abnormally fast pace, before a strange black glow then seeped into the red ball coming from Naruto's hand. It's working, Naruto said, that smile on his face, as he watched as the ball got larger and larger until it was same size as his Rasengan he just formed. I did it, said Naruto. What the hell is that, said Jiraiya. Huh, a different version of the Rasengan, said Naruto, as he pulled back his hand. Let's see how strong this thing is, said Naruto as he threw it, surprising Jiraiya even more once again. The thing was sent sailing, tearing through trees in the forest before coming to a stop, and imploding upon itself. Jiraiya watched as trees were sent sailing, debris were picked up, and the ground was sent rooted up as well. Jiraiya was yet again completely shocked and surprised by this kid. Not only was he able to use Sage Mode in 1 day, after not even knowing anything about it, he was able to perform a different version of the Rasengan, and he was also able to throw it. Just what in the world is this kid, he wondered to himself. I guess it is powerful, said Naruto. Well then, I forgive you for not showing up till late, seeing that you taught me these techniques, said Naruto. As Jiraiya stood there, this kid just took everything so simple, as he didn't just know that he did something that was supposed to not happen. In the first place, no one was able to get Sage Mode so easily. That was impossible. And now the kid performed a Rasengan in less than 10 minutes, and yet he acts so normal. As Jiraiya was yet again taken aback by this kid, as he really wanted to know. It was plaguing his mind right now. Just what in the world is this kid? But then, he didn't really think much of it, as Kushina had adopted the boy into her home and she loved him so much. But now thinking about the fact he just appeared out of nowhere, having these strange abilities, and no one can even comprehend to what he can do, and only he can speak to that book of his. Things were just getting more and more confused than before. As Jiraiya shook his head, to see Naruto just standing there, looking out of space. It does, said Naruto. Yes, it kind of reminds me of my Bichu ball, she said. And the fact that you can throw it. It's just like it, said the Kyuubi. But mine is quite more destructive. Well, I bet if I draw upon some of your power, and also add in some of my mana, and this new Sage mode that I recently acquired, I bet it can be destructive as well. Yes, it would, but that wouldn't be wise to use something like that in Konoha. You might end up getting blamed for a lot of property destroyed, and even some life lost. Yeah, I suppose you're right, said Naruto. As he then turned back towards Jiraiya. So what now? As Jiraiya just stood there. Yo, Perfect Sage, you alright, said Naruto. Yeah, I'm just fine, Jiraiya said. How has it been going with the Sage mode? Oh yeah, said Naruto. It's pretty easy to access right now, easier than before. Naruto closed his eyes, as he snapped them back open as he was in Sage mode. I feel different now. It's like it's connected to my mana somehow. I don't know what was on those toads, but the moment he got here I was sent into this Sage energy. It seems like I had to be where the toads were. Well, I don't have a proper explanation, said Naruto, but now it feels like it's an extension of my body. I can easily enter. And Naruto closed back his eyes. Exit, he said, as he returned back to normal. As Jiraiya just looked at him. Are you okay, Naruto asked. Yeah, I'm fine, Jiraiya said. It's just that you're doing something that people cannot normally do. Well, I know I was different from day one, but having no one to have the same abilities as me, I have no clue where I got them, or how did they just come about like that? What about the book, Yamato, Jiraiya said. Haven't you asked him? Yeah, but he has no memory from when he woke up in the office to come and save me. Other from that, he said that he doesn't remember anything. As Jiraiya placed a hand on his chin, he was also curious about that, if only he could talk to that book. And it seems like the book doesn't remember him because they were all there. Well, it wasn't even moving or flying about when they just there. It was just lying flat on the ground, and none of them could open it when it just arrived with Naruto. Jiraiya sighed as he stepped forward. Hey, lift up your shirt, he said. What? Said Naruto. I'm gonna check something on your seal, Jiraiya said. My seal? Yeah, the one on your stomach. Oh, said Naruto as he lifted up his shirt. Jiraiya placed 2 fingers under the stomach as he channeled his chakra, but then something abnormal happened. Suddenly, Jiraiya got a flash as the world was distorted and shaking all around him. He saw a large hand leaping off of him as he quickly moved back, but when he blinked again, he saw Naruto right in front of him. Hey, Perfect Sage, you okay, Naruto asked. As Jiraiya looked around in shock. What the hell was that, he asked. What are you talking about, said Naruto. Didn't you see that, Jiraiya asked. You mean you touching my stomach for a few seconds and then jumping back in fear? What just happened, Naruto asked. As Jiraiya sighed, it seems like he was the only one that saw that. But what the hell was it? He looked up to see the seal. It was normal. As Jiraiya remembered what Sarutobi told him, that strange hand was coming from the vortex in the sky. If he could take a wild guess, it was that he saw. As he narrowed his eyes towards Naruto, who seemed to be completely oblivious about all of this. As he wondered, the kid told Sarutobi that he had no idea what happened. But now, he was doubting that. Yes, he was doubting that a lot. This was connected to him. But in what way? And how was it connected? You can stop that now, said Jiraiya. How about I help you refine your taijutsu, he said. And I can even teach you the toad fighting style, he said. Well, that should make up for you blowing me off, said Naruto. Well, at least you did teach me that awesome Rasengan. So yeah, said Naruto. Time skip. As Jiraiya was standing in front of Sarutobi. So, it's nothing to do with the seal. I'm afraid not, said Jiraiya. The seal is in perfect working order. But I'm afraid the kid was lying about him not being involved in what happened. Yes, I figured that much. But I don't understand why he would be lying. Unless he's scared, said Sarutobi. Naruto has gone most of his life with the villagers already hating him. So to know that he's responsible for something worse, he wouldn't want anyone to know. Yeah, I guess I can understand that, said Jiraiya. But, what I saw, I don't know what kind of vision it was. But the thing was there. The arm, it came after me. And from your description, I think it's the same one that tried to breach into Konoha. But what the hell is it, said Sarutobi, as he took a puff from his pipe. He still had no idea what was going on. I wanted to remain here during the Chunin exams, finals. Orochimaru has already made his first strike in the force of death against Naruto and placed that mark on Sasuke's neck. I don't know what he's planning, but I also wanted to be here in case things get out of hand with Naruto. I know the kid really wants to participate in it, but are we sure we should let him participate in Chunin exams? Asked Jiraiya, as he was quite concerned. He knew that the kid could hold his own against any of these kids here, because he was fast, and not to mention strong, and also he was not even using Sage mode in their battle earlier today. So yeah, he could hold his own against any of them no matter what. But if things get out of hand, what if he lost himself and lost control? As Sarutobi sighed, it would be rather strange to just disqualify Naruto out of the exam like that. And this will give the villagers more cause. Most of the civilian council already blame him for what happened, even though they didn't see what happened in their own eyes. So if I do this now, it will give them more cause to think that he's a problem. And it will only get worse and worse. I understand that, said Jiraiya, as he looked through the window, as he just wondered what exactly was going on. Time skip. The place was bustling with activities. The 2 weeks has finally came to an end, and it was no time for the Chunin exam finals, finally. As everyone was around, hearing about the contestants that would be fighting today, bets have already been made. The daimyos were here, and the Kazekage was here as well, as he was currently in the Kage's box along with the Hokage, with his 2 guards behind him. And Sarutobi also had 2 guards behind him as well. Jiraiya was not one of them though. He was here, but not in there. As everyone was waiting to see the matches that were going to go on today, the daimyos were here, of the fire and the wind. As many were excited to see the prodigy of the Hyuga clan and also the last Uchiha. Those are the 2 that the people want to see. They even want to see those 2 go up against each other. Yes, those matches are quite popular. As many bets were being placed, many had bet on the Uchiha and many had bet on the Hyuga. The Hyuga clan was up there, along with Hinata, as she still had a few bandages on her from her battle with Neji, but nothing too bad. Her younger sister was sitting beside her Hanabi, as their father was behind them, along with a few other Hyuga members. Genma was in the center of the arena, as the Hokage then got up as he cleared his throat, using chakra to advance his voice as he started to give a speech, as everyone listened keenly to him. While he was talking, the Kazekage had his eyes narrowed on him, as Orochimaru was under the disguise of the Kazekage, watching the Hokage the entire time. As soon enough, this old fossil would be dead. He also had plans, as he looked towards where the civilians were seated, as Kabuto was dressed as an envoy. Him and a group selected were to capture one Naruto Uzumaki and bring him to him. Yes, Orochimaru has been quite interested in that boy from the day that they fought. Powers that are unknown to him that made him quite curious. After all, he did want to learn all jutsus in this world. And that boy had something abnormal, something that he's never seen before. And that thing in the sky back then, Orochimaru was still curious about it. But first, he will have to kill the old man. And Konoha will burn as well. And he will also get his Sasuke, his precious Sasuke. After getting him, Orochimaru licked his lip under his veil. Then no one could stop him. As he was also antsy, as he really wanted him to capture the Uzumaki. The things that he saw that day, the power, the abilities that the boy used, such speed, such elegance. And he seemed to be in some kind of strange trance. As Orochimaru wondered if it was some strange bloodline, he was just beyond curious, and he will find out. Yes, he will find out what exactly that boy was, and use him as a test subject, and see what he has to offer. As the Hokage finished giving his speech, "A wonderful speech indeed, Hokage Dano," said the Kazekage. "Thank you, Kazekage," said Sarutobi as he had a seat. as he gave Genma the go-ahead. Genma then raised his hand. Alright then, let's not keep you guys waiting any longer. As the center arena then opened up, as all of the finalists start to come in. As Sarutobi noticed that the Uchiha wasn't here. I thought the Uchiha would be competing as well, said the Kazekage. He will be, said Sarutobi, but he seemed to be running late at the moment. But he should be here soon enough. As Sarutobi knew that Kakashi wouldn't do something as stupid as this, let Sasuke match go by without arriving. He is always late, but he couldn't let this match just go by like that. This was really important and most people came here to see Sasuke battle as well. As Sarutobi turned his eyes towards Naruto, who was just walking calmly and seeming rather calmer than usual. Yes, he was just looking straight ahead, not looking behind him or looking to his side or nothing. Alright, Genma said. Here we have all the finalists that will be competing today. Now, let us begin the first match of round 1, shall we? Shikamaru Nara versus Temari of the Desert, he said. Will the rest of you please go up to the contestant booth? As the rest of them started to walk away, Temari stood there as she noticed that the pineapple hair one was walking away as well. Hey, you there, she said. As Shikamaru did not stop at all, but then he felt a hand on his shoulder. As he turned to look at Naruto. Naruto, what are you doing, he said. I think you're going the wrong way, buddy, said Naruto. You're the one that's supposed to be fighting. I know that, but it's really troublesome fighting a girl. I'll just leave with the crowd, he said. As Naruto sighed. Always with that lazy attitude, aren't you? Why don't you go and fight her, said Shikamaru. Because she's not my match, Naruto said. No, go on, he says. He pushed Shikamaru forward. Hey, what? Scared to fight a girl, Temari asked. Nothing like that, said Shikamaru. It's just a drag, he said. As Naruto made his way up, he was just looking straight forward, not paying attention, because Neji was to his side. As he was trying to keep himself completely calm, and not focus on him at the moment. Meanwhile, Neji had a rather arrogant smirk on his face. Yes, he did. The reason being is, he's been pushing himself and training incredibly hard for this past month. Even though he knows fate is already on his side and he has to win, there still wasn't any shame in training and getting stronger. Because fate is on his side, there was no way that he can lose this. No way in hell, he thought to himself. As he narrowed his eyes towards a blonde, who wasn't paying him the time of day, Naruto was just looking forward, not looking to his sides, as all of them made their way up. As Hinata was watching the group as they went straight up towards the contestant booth, as she had a rather nervous look on her face. The reason being, Naruto refused to talk about anything about his match. He hasn't said anything about facing off against Neji. At this sense away, Tenten was also looking up as well, as Lee had came out of the hospital as well, but he still had bandits wrapped all around him, and he was in no condition to fight after what happened between him and Gaara, as Tenten had told everyone in the group what Naruto said. Neji simply blew it off like it was nothing, and Lee was worried because he wanted to see Naruto and talk to him, but for the entire month Naruto avoided all of them. The match then started down below, with Shikamaru showing why he was from the Nara clan, showing off his genius in battle, as he was able to plan strategies to confuse and surprise Temari. The next thing she knew, even though she had a vast more output of power than him, she was captured. Yes, she was restrained. As Genma then came over, as Shikamaru raised his hand, as Temari found her hand being raised in the air as well. I give up. What? Everyone said, rather confused. I don't have enough chakra to keep on going, because, as you can see, his shadow then receded back to him. So there's no way I could have won that match, he said. As everyone sighed his lazy attitude at that. He could have at least tried to do something. There he goes again, being a lazy ass, Ino shouted. Troublesome woman, said Shikamaru. What do you think, Hokage? Even though that boy has a lazy attitude, he still can plan effectively, can he? Well, he is a Nara. They have always been known for their smart thinking and strategy, on quick thinking, but they have always been rather lazy, said Sarutobi. That I can agree with you on, said the Kazekage, as he looked out. As the both of them made their way. The next match, let's get straight to it, said Genma. Shinua Barami versus Kankuro of the Desert. As Kankuro suddenly raised his hand, Proctor, I forfeit. Genma looked towards him, as everyone was surprised at that. Next time, don't waste people time like that. If you're gonna forfeit before even doing anything, said Genma. As Conqueror didn't say anything. As he had a reason to forfeit, there was no need for him to fight in this match. The invasion will begin soon. As he saw that Tamara wasn't that badly roughed up, so she could still hold her own. There was no point of him fighting that guy down there. They came here to do a job, and that is what they're going to do. As he looked over at Gaara, Gaara has been acting strange ever since that boy came in front of him and spoke. He has barely talked or said anything. Usually, he has his small remarks or comments about threatening their life. Not that he liked it, he hated it, but Gaara hasn't really spoken anything. He's just been strangely quiet. As Naruto was currently sitting down in the Kage's box. She's right, said Yamato, as they were having a conversation in his head. Through and through, she is still her cousin, and he's a Konoha shinobi as well. We know that you're angry, but it wouldn't be right for you to lose yourself down there. As you already know, many people hate you because of who you are. So, if they deem you as a bigger threat right now, it will only be more bad for you. And it doesn't matter how much the old man cares about you. It will be hard for him to protect you against the entire village, said Yamato. He's right, Naruto-kun. I need you to be calm while facing off against Neji. You can end this match rather quickly from the things you have learned so far. Do not go overboard. Please, don't lose yourself, she said. Naruto slowly opened his eyes as he heard his name. Naruto Uzumaki versus Neji Hyuga. Cheers could be heard as Neji's name was called, as people were ready to see the Hyuga prodigy going on at it down there. The Kazekage then saw the Hokage move, shifted a bit uncomfortably. Is there a matter, Hokage Dano? No, I'm just fine, said Sarutobi. But he was worried, as the next match was Naruto. It was coming rather quickly, but better to get it over with. As Sarutobi remembered what happened, flashback, in the 2-week training period, as Naruto was fast asleep after him and Jiraiya went at it, and they end up catching some fish and eating. As Naruto ended up falling asleep, Jiraiya remembered what the kid said about this book called Yamato, so he wasn't so sure if he was going to do this. Yamato would tell Naruto. So Jiraiya disguised himself under a small genjutsu, trying to just be on the safe side. As he slowly lifted up Naruto's shirt, meanwhile inside the mindscape, as Yamato was asleep lately, he had been sleeping, and it was just rather strange because even though the Kyuubi sleep, he never used to sleep. Ever since that monster came and touched Naruto, things were just a lot different in here. And for the Kyuubi, well, she loved to sleep, so she was currently in her bed, as Yamato was currently sleeping on top of her roof, because she wouldn't let him inside, not at all. As he was currently in his human form, not really paying attention to what was going on outside in the real world. Jiraiya even went through hand sign, as Sarutobi had told him to place a seal or restriction on Naruto, and cover it up with a base genjutsu, so that Naruto wouldn't find out about it, for him to ask to remove it, just in case for this battle that was going to happen. As Jiraiya went through hand sign, 5-corner Toma seal, he said, as he placed his 5 fingers on Naruto that were glowing. A sealing pattern then came over Naruto's body, spreading from the 5 touches of Jiraiya's fingers. They were like tattoos running across his body, but then they suddenly stopped. Jiraiya was confused what was going on as he was pumping his chakra to try and seal away any sort of other energies. But something was wrong. Jiraiya then saw the seal in a ray start to burn. Not literally burn with fire, but he saw it was burning inside Naruto's skin. The strange black markings started to appear, and they were being burned by a black haze. Jiraiya was confused, but it was the same black haze that Naruto absorbed from the paper. But what the hell was this? As all of the seal in the ray was burned until he came up to his finger, he tried to remove his hand, but suddenly he couldn't. Jiraiya pulled back his hand as he tried to remove, but he couldn't. As he tried to move it, as the black haze was coming towards his finger, as he pumped as much chakra as he could to release this hold that he had on him, as he ripped away his hand, moving back. All the seal and ray then suddenly vanished off of Naruto, like they were never there in the first place, making Jiraiya wonder what the hell was that. He did not understand. Why was the seal and ray completely destroyed? And if that was the reason, why was there the Shiki Fujin sealing on him? Jiraiya was just confused. He didn't know up to this point. He ended up telling Sarutobi everything that happened. After returning Naruto home to Uncle. End of flashback. As Sarutobi watched as Naruto made his way in the ring, along with Neji. Naruto-kun, Hinata muttered. As Hanabi turned towards her. Is there something wrong? She asked. No, I'm fine, said Hinata. As Hanabi just looked at her. Before she spoke. Neji will have no problem winning this, Hanabi said. Isn't that right, father? She said, looking up. Yes. There is no way Neji can lose, said Hayashi, as he had confidence in the boy. Hinata, while not shy as she used to be, she was not as strong as Neji. She was strong but not at that level yet. But he saw Hinata as someone who was improving slowly but surely. He was surprised when Kurenai, the person that was in charge of Hinata teaching, came to him and told him that it was because of that boy. He wanted to forbid Hinata from ever seeing that boy, but Kurenai told him that it was because of him. That is the reason why Hinata wasn't so shy anymore. And that was something he wanted to cut out of her for a long time. So, he wouldn't be against her not being so shy anymore. And if he would have to put up with this, he would. As Genma looked at the two. Are the both of you ready? Asked Genma. Yes, said Neji, in his normal stoic tone. Yes, I'm ready, said Naruto, as he looked at Neji for the first time since he was here. And yet, looking at him, those raw emotions of rage, they start to bubble up inside of him. Alright then, let the third match of the Chunin exams, Naruto Uzumaki versus Neji Hyuga, begin! And with that, Genma jumped away. You should just give up, Neji said. I heard your ridiculous claim that you're gonna kill me in this exam. But you should know, fate will not allow something like that to happen, Neji said, with an arrogant smirk on his face. There was no way he would lose or literally die to him in this exam. No way in hell. Fate will never allow that. And this boy could not defeat him. You know, said Naruto, his voice sounding rather low. I know about your seal on your forehead. Neji narrowed his eyes. Yes, I know that with one single hand sign. Because she's from the main clan, she could have stopped you at any moment. But yet still she didn't want to fight using that. And I'm sure many from your clan would have loved to see her use that because she was a main member and you are just a branch member. But through all of that, because she is loving and kind, she would never do something to hurt you that badly. And yet, you went out of your way to try and kill her. You speak as if you know anything, Neji said. You talk just because you're friends. That doesn't make you know anything about our clan. So, I suggest you be quiet. Naruto lowered his head even more. You know, I've thought about it. I thought about it long and hard, the repercussions of what is going to happen if I actually go through with it and kill you. I really thought about it long and hard. I refuse to say anything to Hinata. We never talk about the subject of who I'm going to be fighting. Even though I know that she didn't talk to me about it. And whenever she tried to bring up the conversation, I always change it. I refuse to see Lee, Tenten, or Guy. Because I thought it would be wrong seeing them after I did what I did. And even before, because they would try to talk me out of it. But seeing you now, Neji, looking at your smug face as you stand there, there is no way in hell that I'm gonna change my mind. Neji simply smirked as he activated his Byakugan. The only result of what is going to happen today is you, down on the ground, and me being declared the winner of this match. So, don't fool yourself thinking that you're gonna win. Naruto took in a long, deep breath as he exhaled, as his eyes then changed. Meanwhile, inside the mindscape, he's really calm, said Yamato. Yeah, too calm, said the Kyuubi as she looked around. Usually, there was always lightning crackling in the mindscape, or something bad happening when he was angry, but now, the place was calm and balanced. As she knew that Naruto was holding in everything, as she didn't want him to erupt. Naruto-kun, she said. But he didn't answer back. Naruto-kun, she said. But he still didn't say anything. Yamato tried to leave the mindscape, but he couldn't. What the hell? What's wrong, the Kyuubi asked. I can't leave. What do you mean you can't leave? I mean I can't leave, said Yamato, as he tried to leave the mindscape once again. He's doing something. Did he trap me in here, said Yamato as he tried to leave once again. But he couldn't. Back outside, everyone was watching. I bet the Hyuga is gonna win this rather quickly. That boy cannot beat the prodigy Hyuga, you know that, right? Huh. It would be a real shame if someone bet on that boy, losing their money to him, said another. Meanwhile, Hinata had a worried look on her face. Her sister Hanabi looked over at her. That's your friend, right? Said Hanabi. You don't want Neji to hurt him too bad. As Hanabi figured that was what Hinata was so worried about. But Hinata knew it was the other way around. As Naruto didn't give her the time of day to talk about their match. Every time, he always changed the conversation. Even when she talked, he acted like he didn't hear her when they were talking about Neji, because she found out that he was going to fight him. She also heard what he did at the exam, but she wasn't going to say anything about it. That guy was the enemy, and he was from a different village, even though she's never known Naruto for the one to kill someone so brutal. But this was bad. As Hayashi narrowed his eyes at Hinata, Hinata has changed. As he was surprised when Kunai told him the reason, it was because of that boy down there, Naruto Uzumaki. He changed Hinata for the better. While she wasn't as strong as Neji, she has definitely improved. As the rest of the members of the council wanted Hinata to use the birdcage seal against Neji if she was losing, but Hinata had refused to do so. Yes, that is the kind of person she was. Now looking down at his daughter, he could see that she was terribly worried. He knew that this boy, Naruto Uzumaki, had strange abilities, but he wondered who was Hinata worried for. Now, said Neji, are you prepared to accept your fate once and for all? As Naruto stepped forward, but the moment his left foot touched the ground, he vanished. What the hell? Many members mumbled in the crowd. Did he just teleport? That couldn't be speed, right? Meanwhile, Neji was scanning the entire arena. As he looked around, where the hell did he go? His Byakugan allowed him perfect vision all around him, so he didn't have to move. And Naruto couldn't be that fast to come behind his blind spot so easily. So where did he go? Neji vision then caught something blurring around him. It can't be. As Neji stepped forward, but the moment he did, that fist smacked into his face, surprising the hell out of him as he was then skidded back. Neji reached up as he placed a hand at his mouth. Blood? His lip was bleeding. Suddenly, he felt something behind him as he ducked, as a fist screamed over his head, then nearly took it off completely. Neji spun around just in time, but it was for naught as nothing was behind him. He couldn't understand what was going on. Was this some strange ability that he possessed? Some teleportation or something? But Neji couldn't see him. What was he doing? You know, for perfect visions, your eyes are not that good. And they said that you're the prodigy of the Hyuga clan. Neji was shocked when he felt something resting against his back, as both him and Naruto was now back to back. He never thought you'd have to bring this out so quickly, but he was so near. It was a perfect chance. Rotation, Neji said as he spun. Naruto was sent flying away as he crashed right into the ground. Neji wasted no time as he couldn't allow this fight to escalate any further. He dashed forward with tremendous speed as Naruto picked up himself. Seeing Neji coming, Naruto did not move. You have made a big mistake, Neji said. You're right in my field. 2 palms, 4 palms, as he kept on striking Naruto over and over, as everyone up there had a, look on their face to say, I told you so. As they all believed that the Hyuga would win no matter what, even though they were surprised to what that blonde kid just did a minute ago, as most of them didn't understand was that just pure speed, or some kind of illusion or teleportation. As Neji was hitting Naruto all over his points on his body, but he couldn't see anything inside of Naruto's body. The thing was, he couldn't see through Naruto. That was confusing and strange. His Byakugan could not see, but he was familiar with his style of fighting and he knew the points in a human body. Neji finished up with a powerful strike to Naruto midsection that forced Naruto to smash right into a tree, embedded in it. Neji then turned his back as he looked towards Genma. Proctor, this match is over, he said. I wanted you to feel how she felt. Neji was surprised. He turned around to see Naruto getting up to his feet. Many members in the crowd gasped. Even after that, the boy still stand back up. Hokage, it seems like you have one strong kid there, said the Kazekage. As Hiruzen didn't say anything, his eyes were just focused on Naruto. Meanwhile, over in the crowd as well, Anko was focused on Naruto, as she didn't want him to get angry, like before. She didn't want him to lose it here. But this match was dragging on, and she was scared that he would. Neji was surprised. He fully turned towards Naruto. How? How are you standing? Neji asked. You thought that you were fast enough to block me, said Naruto. For you to catch me off guard? Well, you're wrong. I let you hit me because I want you to understand how she felt. Oh there. She had a huge advantage to use against you, but yet she didn't. And she allowed you to attack her. And you did it so without remorse and without care. It's my time. To make you feel all that she felt out there. To make you feel all the pain. But 100 times worse. As Naruto got to his feet before smashing his hand on the ground, a giant stone hand erupted from the ground. Neji jumped back and thrust out his palm as a palm of chakra, smashed right into the stone hand, destroying a few of the fingers. The thing was large as the fingers just came back out of the grubble. The thing then launched towards Neji as he was forced to jump back. Neji then spun around just in time as his eyes could see behind him. 3 hands erupted from the ground. Rotation, he says. He spun violently, blowing the 3 of them to pieces. As he releases rotation, the moment he releases rotation, a step appeared right in front of him. Neji tried to spin again, but it was too slow. He couldn't do it fast enough. As a fist connected right in his nose, a loud cracking sound could be heard as his entire head was thrown back before his body. His body followed soon after. Neji's body was sent sailing like a rocket before it smashed into the wall with great force, making the wall crack and shake from the trauma. Everyone was speechless in the crowds. How could one kid be so strong to throw a Jenny like that all the way over to the other side of the arena? As Hiruzen looked down there, if this continued on, he's going to kill him. But this match, they were able to kill. And Neji slowly picked up himself, blood leaking from his nose and his mouth. His entire face aching pure pain, as he could barely see. His vision was a lot cloudy. He did not understand. How could one hit hurt him so badly? Naruto held up one finger as 4 black balls formed around it before they all started to spin, moving so fast that you couldn't even see that it was 4 of them. It just looked like one blur. Before he released it, as they teared through the ground going towards Neji with tremendous speed. Seeing them coming, Neji threw himself to the side. The things connected to the wall and blew a giant hole in it, surprising Neji at the explosion. Meanwhile, up in the box, as Gaara was looking down, as Temari looked over at her brother, as Gaara seemed to have a strange look on his face that she's never seen before. It was a mixture of scared and curiosity, as she was also curious, but Gaara was scared, and she's never seen him scared in her life before, so that is why it was so strange. Ever since that day, when that blonde kid came in front of Gaara and spoke to him, he's been acting rather strange. But she was surprised. She never knew that that kid was so strong. Back in the arena, as Neji slowly got back up to his feet, his head still felt like it was pounded by some giant hammers, as he did not understand how was he so strong. Naruto waved his hand right in front of him, as a magical seal appeared. As a fireball shoot from it, Neji quickly jumped to the side as he started to rush off. Another fireball shoot after Neji as he jumped to the other side. As Naruto was standing there with a sick smile on his face, it was like a predator watching its prey and playing with it before going for the kill. Neji jumped on the wall using chakra to stick to it, as the thing kept on shooting fireballs after him. Naruto then extended his hand outward as a blue glow extended. It was tall like a whip. As he swung it around, as he thrust it forward, Neji jumped just in time as the whip connected with the wall, cracking it. Naruto then sailed the whip towards Neji. As Neji spun, he thrust towards the whip. But at the last second, the thing turned like it had a mind of its own and wrapped around Neji's stomach before pulling him straight towards Naruto. As Neji had his eyes focused, he pulled back his palm. He was going to strike Naruto right in his heart and end this once and for all. As Neji saw that he was getting close as he prepared to finish the final strike, Hinata's eyes went wide as she saw what Neji was doing, but yet still Naruto was smiling. Neji thrust his palm forward, but to his shock, Naruto slapped his hand with equal force. Neji was surprised. Naruto held on to his hand that tight grip. It was then that Neji took a good look at his eyes. Those strange eyes with a black bar in them, with strange colors above it. As Neji narrowed his eyes dangerously at Naruto, as Naruto smiled, "Now you're caught, like a trapped mouse. What will you do?" Neji thrust out his other palm, but Red Chain shot from the ground and grabbed it. Making Naruto smile as he pulled back his hand. He then smashed his fist right into Neji's shoulder. With a terrible cracking sound, Neji's hand went limp as he screamed out on top of his lungs, his hand brutally broken. As he didn't know how, but Naruto hit him with such a force from one punch. As everyone was surprised when Neji screamed, before Naruto jumped and kicked him right in the face. As blood exploded from Neji's mouth as he was sent sailing back. Neji hesitated for a second, before slowly rose up to his feet, coughing up blood. As his hand was limply at his side, his Byakugan still activated. "This means nothing," Neji said. "Fate has still declared me the winner today." "You will lose," Neji said. "Oh, is that so?" said Naruto as he waved his hand. This time 5 magical seals appeared around Neji as Naruto snapped his finger. Neji was struck as he cried out in pain. A bolt of lightning started direct from them, smashing repeatedly all over Neji's body. He tried to block, but he couldn't. They were so fast. As he could only stand and cry out in pain, they felt like they were zapping his skin. He collapsed to his knees as Naruto grabbed him by his throat. Neji was unaware when Naruto appeared right in front of him so fast. As Naruto started to choke the life out of him, before bringing up Neji, as he then pulled back his head and smashed his head into Neji's forehead with tremendous force, as blood started to gush down, before he threw Neji back. Neji collapsed down on his back, gasping for air. "Now it's time you die," said Naruto. As he slammed his hand on the ground, several red chains picked up Neji by his arms, stretching him. As Naruto then slammed his hand right below his feet. Suddenly, the ground started to shake violently before a giant tree exploded out of the ground. As Naruto stood tall on top of the tree, as it bent in an awkward position, making the mouth of it look like a cannon, as it pointed towards Neji. As energy started to be sucked right in front of the hole. As it was like the tree was gathering life energy around from them. Placing his hand on top of it, the Sage Mode washed out of Naruto's body and flew into the tree. The thing looked like it was flush with life now. Suddenly, a small ball started to form until it got larger and larger. Genma flashed in the arena as he stood in front of Neji. "Uzumaki, the battle is over." As he looked at Neji that was being hanged up by the chains, one of his eyes were barely open. Blood was leaking from his nose and his mouth, and he looked to be in extreme pain, barely conscious. "You have won. Stop this. Stop this. The only reason I came here today is to make sure that he died. I suggest you move before you get hurt. Uzumaki, if you do this, you will be disqualified from this exam. And also, your opponent is unable to compete. The test is over. He's a fellow Konoha ninja. Doing this, you will be severely punished," he said. "I thought that we could kill in this exam. Now why would I be punished? Because the exam is over. There is no need to continue this attack. Now stop this at once." Meanwhile, inside the mindscape, "Damn it, what the hell is going on out there?" said Yamato and the Kyuubi, as they couldn't see what was going on outside, and Yamato couldn't go outside. The Kyuubi couldn't even feel their connection to Naruto. It was like it was completely severed, as she was wondering what the hell was going on. Suddenly, they saw the sky start to darken. Dark clouds start to appear in the mindscape, as lightning started to crackle everywhere. Meanwhile, outside, a sick, twisted smile came on Naruto's face as he looked over at Genma. "I made a promise to myself that I would kill him. So if you stand away and die, that is not my concern." Genma looked up towards the Hokage. "Naruto, the exam is over," said Hiruzen. "Stop this at once." As Naruto looked up, Hiruzen then saw the smile on Naruto's face. As he knew, he feared that something like this would happen. As he remembered Jiraiya's words, "If you think that it will get that bad, I know that the kid won't want to participate. but I don't think that you should let him go in the exam. As Harrison gritted his teeth, this is bad. Naruto, said a voice, as Naruto turned his head. I've already won, Uncle said. Don't do something like this. This is beyond stupid. You will get kicked from the exam. Meanwhile, Hayashi saw Hinata got up. Hinata, where are you going, he said. I have to stop this, she said. She rushed down. Hinata, he said. But she didn't pay him any attention. As she stopped right at the wall, Naruto-kun, she cried out, making Naruto look towards her. You have proven yourself, please stop this, she said. Meanwhile, Orochimaru was watching all of this. As a smirk came on his face, this would be the perfect time. This confusion. As he waved his hand over towards the masked Kabuto. Meanwhile, Jiraiya landed in the arena. Kid, you need to calm down, Jiraiya said. The fight is already over. You need to boom. Jiraiya was cut off as the ground shaking violently. As Naruto looked around as several explosions went off outside the village. Suddenly, the Kage box was filled with smoke. As Jiraiya looked around, he feared that something like this would happen. Suddenly the walls were broken open with 3 giant-headed snakes. As sound ninjas and sand ninjas started to pull inside the village. Feathers started to fall over the civilians, placing them under a genjutsu. As the disguise, sand and sound ninjas start to get out of their position and start to battle. The Konoha shinobi spring to life. As you can see, we're being invaded. There is no time for you to do something stupid, said Jiraiya. As Naruto scanned all around him, he then turned his plant. What are you doing, Jiraiya said. Before he placed his hand on it, the thing released a burst of pure, pale energy that shot towards the 3-headed snake, completely obliterating it. The thing tore to shreds. A bunch of sand and sound ninjas who were behind the snakes got incinerated. At that moment, Sasuke and Kakashi arrived in the arena. What the hell? Said Sasuke, as he looked around after arriving at Sunshin. Lord Jiraiya, said Kakashi. Kakashi, we're being invaded, said Jiraiya. As Sasuke looked around, he then noticed Naruto before noticing Neji, who was being hanged up by chains, looking like he was going to die because he was unconscious right now, his body finally giving out from the exhaustion. Naruto glanced over at Neji. He shook his head as he calmed himself down. Waving his hand, the chains receded back into the ground. As Genma picked up Neji, the boy was barely breathing. It seems like he has suffered a lot of internal damage. They need to get him to a hospital. Quickly. I'll get this one somewhere safe, said Genma. As Naruto narrowed his eyes at Genma dangerously as he was watching Neji get carried away. But this was not the time. This was not the time to kill him. At least he could kill someone else. As he looked up to see 2 figures landed right on the academy rooftop. Many more explosions ran around the village. Kid, are you gonna be okay? Asked Jiraiya. We wouldn't want you to be losing yourself now. Yeah, I'm gonna be okay, said Naruto. As Jiraiya nodded before hopping off to take care of the pursuers, as more giant snakes started to go in towards the main village. What the hell is going on, dope? Said Sasuke as he looked around. Well, as you can see, an invasion, said Naruto. Seems like we're being invaded from the hidden sand. I thought they were allies, said Naruto. Damn it, Sasuke said. I didn't even get to get my match. We're being invaded, and that's the first thing you thought about, said Naruto. You had your match, and it seems like you won. And not to mention, there's not even a single scratch on you. And that Hyuga kid was all messed up, looking like he was about to die. He should have died, said Naruto. But for now, there's more important. Naruto-kun, said a voice. As Naruto turned his head. Hinata, what are you doing here? He asked. As Hinata ran over to him. Please, don't go after Neji anymore, she said. As Naruto looked towards her. I know we didn't get a chance to talk about it because you didn't want to. But please, just don't do it. You have already defeated him. You can see now that he's no match for you. Don't go do anything else stupid. As you heard what they said, he's a comrade, he's still a Konoha ninja. So if you did that, you'll get in trouble. And I wouldn't be able to see you again, she said. Please, just don't do anything stupid. You've already beaten him. And I don't want you to get hurt because of my behalf. If the Konoha ninjas are against you, if you end up killing him. So please stop this, she said, with tears in her eyes. Naruto stepped forward. I'm sorry, he said. Come on, don't cry. It's fine. I won't go after him anymore. As you said, I already defeated him and bested him in battle. Naruto cons the voice in his head. Finally! What the hell happened, said the Kyuubi. As Yamato then arrived in the real world. Yeah, what the hell just happened, said Yamato. Even though no one else could hear him, as Naruto could hear him perfectly. One minute we could speak to you, and next minute we couldn't hear jack shit from you. We couldn't even see outside, and I couldn't get outside, said Yamato. Did you? Said the Kyuubi. No, it's alright, said Naruto. I didn't kill him. But we have more important matters to deal with right now. Like what, she asked. Like the fact that we're being invaded. Invaded, she said, as Yamato looked around. Damn, he's right, said Yamato, as he saw many explosions went off. Lady Hinata, said a voice. As Keo, Hinata caretaker, landed right beside her. As Keo looked at Hinata, Lady Hinata, your father insists that I bring you back to the compound immediately, he said. No, but I have to stay here with Hinata, said Naruto. He's right. You're still a bit battered from your fight with him. I will be alright, said Naruto. I just want to make sure that you're safe. So go with him, okay? Alright, fine, she said. But don't do anything stupid and be safe, okay? As Naruto nodded. Hey, said Naruto as he looked towards Keo. As Keo turned his head, what is it? Make sure you protect her, said Naruto. It is my duty, and I will, said Keo. That is none of your concern. Let's go, Lady Hinata, he said, as he went off with Hinata. At least she's safe, Naruto said to himself. As Sasuke heard him, is that your girlfriend? Sasuke asked, as he wanted to ask that question for a long time now. Girlfriend? No. She's just my best friend. You two seem really close. Sasuke then heard a boom, as he saw Gaara use his sand to destroy the wall, as he was heading into the forest with his siblings. Now there's my opponent, said Sasuke. He's the enemy. So, it's time we do our match, said Sasuke as he took off. Wait, you idiot, Naruto shouted, but Sasuke was already gone. Kakashi then landed. Naruto, he said, I need you to go out there and stop that boy and his siblings. If they're planning to do what I think they're gonna do. Wait, do you mean they're gonna use the one tail since I to destroy the village? As Kakashi was surprised, I already know about that, said Naruto. So do you think that is what they're gonna do? It seems that way. I want you to back up Sasuke and stop them. I knew you can do it, said Kakashi. Will do, said Naruto, as he took off. Meanwhile, Keo was escorting Hinata, when suddenly a group of stone ninjas landed right in front of them. If you don't want to die, I suggest you move, said Keo, as he went into his gentle fist stance. The man then shot forward as Keo moved with precise swift, as he moved right through them, striking them at vital points as they were sent flying, and some of them dropped instantly, instant death. Keo then spinned his body around as he launched at two more of them, knocking them down instantly. Keo then pulled a kunai, spin around and threw a kunai up in the air, knocking away the kunais that the guy was sent sailing down from the air. As the man then jumped down, as he had a blade, he swift at Keo, as Keo dodged each of his strikes. Before Keo went for a palm strike, Keo then noticed someone behind him smirking, before the man behind him threw a kunai into his own Stone Ninja friend back. As that explosive note was attached to it, Keo's eyes went wide before the thing erupted and blew Keo away straight into a wall. As he hit against it rather hard, Hinata stood her stance, ready to fend off against them. Lady Hinata, run, said Keo, as he struggled to get back up to his feet, the explosion rocking him. She's a cute one, said one of the ninjas as they landed, as he had a bloodthirsty grin on his face. Well, she is. Why don't we take this one for personal usage? I won't let you touch Lady Hinata. Keo got up, but he was assaulted by several kunais raining down on him. Keo, Hinata shouted. As she was then suddenly attacked, Hinata spun around just in time. She struck one of them right in the stomach, sending him sailing. She strung another one as he attacked her. He came in at Hinata with swift movements. Hinata still had a bandage wrapped around her from her fight with Neji. She was not 100% yet after what Neji did to her, as she dodged the strikes until she saw someone behind her with her byakugan. She spun just in time as she struck him right in the legs, making him collapse to his knees before she kicked him. As another man appeared right behind her as he swung his blade at her, making her duck. She winced in pain as her wounds started to act up. But then she was assaulted with a brutal kick to the back as she was knocked to the ground roughly. You little bitch, one of the men said as he tried to get up, but Hinata had paralyzed his legs as he couldn't move them. As Hinata was slowly getting up to her feet, the man threw several kunais at her while he was still on the ground. Hinata's eyes widened as they were coming towards her before something flashed right in front of her as Keo was assaulted with the kunais. Lady Hinata, run, he said, as he collapsed over. I don't think so, said the voice. Hinata focused on Keo's death right in front of her, and her injuries still acting up. She couldn't move fast enough. Slash! As a sword was driven right through her back by one of the sound ninjas. As Hinata looked down in shock to see blood, as a trickle of blood fall from her mouth. As she saw her vision start to get hazy. Naruto-kun, she said, before she fell over. Meanwhile, hopping from tree branch to tree branch, as Naruto was gaining on Sasuke, he didn't know what it was, but he felt this strange feeling. As he shook it off, Hinata should be home by now, and she should be safe with her father at the Haigo compound, as Uncle can defend herself quite well. He has nothing to worry about, as he focus ahead. But guys, if you end this episode right here, if you want the next part of this or not to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm off for now, see you guys soon, peace.